Today we're going to be talking about how to reseat a network cable. Essentially what that means is we're going to unplug the network cable and plug it back in. This is going to help the camera reboot. Maybe the camera's in a state where it's not coming online or another issue has occurred. This reseating can happen in one of two locations. We can do it at the camera level, or we can go above the ceiling and find where it's plugged in there. The reason why you might go to either of those two locations depends on your accessibility to a ladder, tools, or just your own personal comfort level. So let's jump into those two ways. Okay, so one of those ways is actually going above the ceiling and finding where the network cable is and unplugging that. Now there's going to be a lot of stuff potentially inside of your ceiling, so just be aware of that. But you'll eventually need to find the blue network cable, typically blue, and see where that leads. If your camera's in the wall, you might want to start there to find where that's plugged in. If it's in the ceiling, you might find your network jack somewhere around there. So we've come up into our ceiling, and we've found our area where we have our network cable plugged into this biscuit jack for the network connection. All I'm going to do is take that blue network cable. There's a little push pin. I'm going to unplug that. Just let that sit for a couple seconds. And then I'm going to reseat that. If you have a pan tilt zoom camera, if you are near it, you might hear it start to initialize after a little bit. Otherwise, if you do have access to visualize the LEDs on the camera, those also might be starting to light up as well. But otherwise, that's all we needed to do. The other method is going to be going to the camera physically and unseating and then reseating the cable there. Now, depending on if you have accessibility to a T20 security bit or an appropriately sized flathead screwdriver, this may or may not be easier. For our dome camera, it's going to be pretty easy here. So we'll first want to remove the dome by using our tools to unscrew the screws of the dome. Now that the dome is off, we'll want to put that off to the side and locate where the network cable is so we can unplug it and then plug it back in. For the network cable, there's going to be a little push tab that you'll want to push in, and then you can unseat the network cable. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Once the network cable is unplugged, we'll just want to wait a second, and then we'll immediately go back to plug it back in. You should hear a click when that Ethernet cable goes in, and then on most cameras, you'll also see an LED indicator letting you know that that camera is powering up. This LED indicator is going to tell us a couple of different things. It's going to flash amber and red as it's first powering on, but eventually it'll turn green. Green is what we're looking for to know that that camera is online and back on the network. For our camera here, it looks like that is there, so we should be good now, unless you've been told otherwise, to actually go ahead and put that dome back on, and then we're good to go.